Hello guys, your favorite MMO tank is here, and today I have a full guide for Wilds of Talandre in which I will tell you everything you need to know to get yourself started. So let's get to it. So first thing you need to do is obviously level up to level 55. I'm not really going to cover that. That's kind of like obvious at this point. Check your build guides. There are plenty of build guides. I'm going to make some build in the future, but that's just theory crafting. Pick a guide and stick to it. Try to obtain the gear that you want. Obviously that's going to take time, but just stick to one guide. And specifically, the one thing that you're going to immediately do in the beginning is going to be your mastery, right? Because you're going to have converted some of these points. Obviously, you go on here, you see, you got like 60 points here, and this one is like, already did some stuff here. First, you're going to have to make your builds. That's why you're going to check the build guide and pretty much set up your new masteries, because you're not going to have anything on automatically. So if you start and don't do that, you're going to be significantly weaker. I'm going to drop a link in the description about my weapon mastery guide, so you can check there that I'm specifically talking about weapon mastery. I'm not going to talk too much about it here. Just follow the guide and stick to it, because otherwise you may end up wasting extra materials in the beginning that you don't really need to. So that's the first thing you have to deal with. Now, the next thing you're going to have to do is take all the new vendors and all the daily and weekly stuff that you can buy from them. So for instance, you have the contract coin manager. Now here you don't have too many new things. The only new things that I see is the new blessing pouch and the precious selection chest. So if you don't see the type of weapon that you really need from this section here, don't go for it anyway. That you can get a guaranteed tier 2 weapon, but if it's not what you need, don't bother with that. And this is, you got some much better stuff from here. However, the drop rate is very low, so I don't really recommend spending this amount of points. It's the same with this one. It's quite a lot of coins just for that, and the chances to get what you really want is very low. Probably suggest, as usual, just focus on getting inks, extraction stones, and also mystical keys, because this is going to be the main source for you to make Lucent, and you're going to need Lucent later on. So yeah, you probably want to continue with that. That's nothing new here. Also, you got the new contract managers. You actually have them just here in the main city, which is Herba Village. They're just two different ones. These are for lower level contracts. This one here on the left side is for higher level contracts. So just look at them and do these daily as well, obviously. The guild merchant didn't change too much, like actually didn't change at all. Everything is the same, so don't bother with that too much. Now with the general merchant, the real new thing that you have is gonna be the resistance force contract selection chest, which is slightly different now. Once you get it, you have to choose between the older ones and the new ones. So obviously get the newer ones. They're just higher value. You'd probably never want to do the old ones, and this is a bit tricky because they give you the same amount. Also, another thing that you can check, you can increase your storage inventory even more now. The previous cap was 300 now. I don't even know how much it is. It's probably a bit more, but it's also crazy expensive. I think it's capped at 9.5 million, so that's not too bad, but yeah. And also you have a new NPC right here. It's right here in this section of the town. It's called Resistance Goods Merchant. And you see inside, completely new set of things. You're going to use these special resistance metals, which now you can actually obtain from many different sources. You're going to get some extra from in the beginning as well. And here we have pretty good stuff. You're going to need a lot of those things. And as far as I see, these are weekly, and these that don't say anything are just one-time purchases. I don't think they reset per month or something like that. You're going to restock in like 4 days. That's going to be the weekly stuff. And early on, you're going to need a lot of precious stone, even magic powder for crafting the new upgrades. Eventually, you're going to need trade and lock stones as well, because some of the trades in the beginning are going to be really expensive. And you may need, these are probably super good, like the precious ore that you need. You're going to need a lot of these as well. And also weapon mastery. Just keep that in mind. You can buy a lot of these things. Also, the precious growth stones, I think they're just one-time purchases, you can see, but we'll see if they ever reset. So that's the new NPC. And you also have this new NPC, which is called All Things Workshop. A bit weird, but anyway, it's right here. You still have the old ones. You have this one, which is basically getting everything in one place. You can craft everything right here. Armor, weapon, accessories, the side stuff, which are actually just things that you can use the coins for. Like, don't really do these, don't craft them. You need those new coins for the new gear, but you can get the old ones because you really don't want to buy anything with these. You can just get trade and lock stones as well. And also you have the skill books. However, keep in mind, right here you have these three sections, weapon, armor, and accessory. And if you remember back in days, I told you that you can craft these rune chance chests, but the armor and accessory are different than the weapons. Just remember that. This one is just a reminder. This one costs 300,000, almost 300,000 sound, 120 fragments to make one box. And from the weapon section, it doubles the amount of fragments to 250. So you're gonna make less boxes. However, the amount of sound that is exchanged 10 times less, almost 10 times less. Let's say about 9 times. So it's way cheaper in terms of sound, but it's gonna use pretty much double the amount of fragments. Keep that in mind, just a reminder. And also, of course, you have some new stuff, like do your daily check-ins. This is like weekly event stuff. Pay attention to these change every day. Just get them, obviously. And now you have new weekly missions, which you can click right here. And you can do pretty much the same stuff like you used to do. A lot of them, you're just gonna get them by default, just playing the game. 100 more to get these 2 last rewards. So it's not really too difficult. I'm mostly just doing PvE stuff right here. And then you have a little bit of PvP, a little bit of like life skill stuff, guild related things, and also some dynamic events. But that's pretty much not too difficult to get that. Just pay attention to get them every week. Now, the next thing is super important. I want you to remember that it's really crucial for your progress. Now, a lot of people are going to say different things for this. We can be contradicting each other, but my personal opinion is don't waste your epic items on material transmutation, which is basically it's a gambling. Not just right now, because right now you just don't have the new conversion tier anyway. But even when you get the new conversion, which is going to be in the next probably couple of days, couple of weeks, and you'll be able to get the new tier 2 items, I still recommend you to not do it. Like a lot of people are saying, save up a bunch of these items here, like epics you see here. They're locked, that's why I can't use them. Those are a bunch of epics right here, as you can see. I've only saved them mostly for trades. I was doing blessing stacking and I also got trades, so I can just make it easier for myself when I get the gear. However, I'm not gonna waste them on this one. Even the bad ones that you see, some things that I don't need, like evasion, not dropping it here. Eventually, I'm just gonna dust these things. So the reason for that is, first of all, you're gonna need a ton of materials. And basically, if you just dissolve these, let's say you wanna dissolve these, you're gonna get dust. You're gonna need tons of dust. You need like thousands of precious polished crystal, pretty much the same number of the same rarity of the dust. So basically, we're looking at that precious magic powder. Powder dust, pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's powder. So you're gonna need these, and you get this from dissolving items. And you're gonna need thousands of these, like actually thousands. I can't really stress this enough. You're gonna need a ton of these materials. And what a lot of people are telling you is not true. It doesn't help you to progress if you just dump all these items, blue, purple, regardless, dumping them in this material transmutation is really not gonna help you that much. This is gambling. Gambling is always bad for your health in real life and also in game. Can't really stress that enough. Like if you just look at these drop rates, this is for tier 1, and based on the historical chart, like this is already low enough. Getting the next tier would give you tier 2. Most likely is going to be even lower drop rate for tier 2. So yes, some of these items will be expensive, but a lot of these items will also be accessible from dungeons, so they'll not be very expensive for a long time. And yes, you can get lucky and get something that's a bit more difficult to obtain, but realistically, in the long run, what you're really getting is you're dumping multiple pieces of these other items to get one, and there's a chance that this one may be not really that expensive. Yes, you can make some losses up front, and then later on it's gonna get less and less beneficial to do these. But the amount that you're gonna need of these other materials that you get from either dissolving these items, it's absurdly high. So let's say that I've stacked up on all these. Now, the reason I stacked on these is not for dust anyway. This is mostly just for trades. Now, that's another thing. You're gonna need trades. Trade your new tier 2 gear. You're either gonna use tier 1 epics or tier 2 epics. And obviously tier 2 epics are gonna be really expensive, really difficult to obtain. So then most likely you end up using tier 1 epics, which is basically the same as back you were using blue tier 1, which you already have tier 2 blue. You're using blue tier 1 for a 10% chance to upgrade your epic one. And because it was expensive up front, a lot of people just using blue ones, and then you fail a lot of times. You also get blessing, and then just, you know, that was the process. And now it's pretty much the same process. However, it's just one tier higher. Now you're going to use tier 1 epics to trade tier 2. getting tier 2 traits, extractions, is going to be really expensive and really difficult in the beginning because a lot of people will need them anyway, so the price will be high. And you're going to need these, but that's just for traits. The rest that you don't need that are bad traits, you just dust. Dust them because you're going to need thousands of dust regardless for the growth stones to get them to level 12. You just convert some of it, but the new level is going to be pretty low. Just keep that in mind. So in the end of the day, this is really just gambling. And this is a way for any other MMO before that. It's pretty much material sink. And this is either going to slow your progress or the hope to get something, which is basically gambling. Like I can't really talk about it too much. Like it's really just a gamble thing. There's not much to say about it. It's just bad for your health, no matter how you look at it. You're just hoping to get something. In the end, you just waste a lot of these that you're going to need, and it will just convert in you slowing your progress in the long run. This is mostly beneficial for somebody that already have fully traded and leveled up the main gear, right? So it's going to be taking a lot of time. And obviously, a lot of these things will be just cheaper later on. But realistically, if you want to progress, this is the best way because you're going to need a lot of these. And getting this amount, you can look at this, right? I can't really count again. It's like probably hundreds epics, right? With these as well. Like this actually took me maybe about a month or something, grinding all these. So getting this same number, like grinding now, you may have higher drop rate to get these more epics from the new dungeon and so on. However, it's still going to take a lot of time, trust me. And you're going to need those things. Like getting dust is not as easy as you think, and you're going to need thousands of it as well. So keep that in mind. Do what you think is best, but this is really my personal opinion. And why I say that is I'm just looking at a lot of other people. They're like giving you advice and stuff like that. But in the end of the day, this game actually attracts a lot of toxic players. I'm going to put it this way. I don't care if somebody hates me or not. Yes, this game attracts toxic players. And very often they don't really think what is best for you. Like they're not really giving you advice. It's like good old days with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was giving the wrong advices to other competitors so that they are just left behind. Well, this is exactly what's going on here. A lot of these people are giving you advice and they'll tell you do this and do that. And they know for a fact that this is only going to slow you down because they want to be on top. This is the kind of players that you can find in a game like that. It's very dynamic, highly competitive game, and people take it a bit too serious. Like it's really part of their life. And when you attack the game, it's like attacking their personality, but that's a whole different topic. Anyway, just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. You're going to find a lot of cool people in the game. There is a good number of players that are just going to be misleading you. They're toxic, they're gating others, they're preventing them from accessing content and stuff like that. This is kind of the environment. So really be careful. What kind of people are you taking advice from? And this is my opinion on using a gambling machine. Like never use fucking gambling stuff in any situation. In real life or in video games. It's just a fucking luck. Yes, there might be some content creator that's going to show you, hey, I got this. It's really amazing. But they're not going to show you how many hundreds, if not thousands of other people tried it and got jack shit. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I spent too much time talking about that. So let's just move on. Now, the next really good thing is do the new dungeons, right? Also, you want to do the 2-star dungeons, but they're way easier. So it's not a big problem because you get the same new type of adventure coin. You're going to need that. It's going to help you out. However, you probably don't want to do 1-star dungeons. They're going to give you the old adventure coins and they're pretty much useless. You don't want any of those things. So just skip 1-star, do 2-star, that's easy. But then definitely do 3-star dungeons. That's the new dungeons. They require level 55. Now, in the beginning, it's going to be a bit more difficult because not only that you don't know the mechanics and you're going to need some time to learn them, but also you're not exactly so much geared. I know that they require technically 3500 combat power, just like the previous content. That's the bare minimum. It actually does say minimum, which means that you're going to see really hard time doing these dungeons at such low combat power because even people with 4000 are taking a bit of time to clear it, and you're going to have to pretty much learn the mechanics. Later on, once you get in a range of like 5000 combat power, we'll probably be able to clear those dungeons much faster, so we'll be able to skip some mechanics, but early on it's going to be a bit more difficult. Best case scenario, find yourself friends or guild. That's really the best thing you can do. Just find a guild and play with the guild, play with people that actually you can just kind of like get along. Get on Discord, talk to people. It's also better for coordination. And also, generally speaking, you're going to have much better experience with people that you're actually speaking to and not just random LFG. Of course, sometimes you might need to find some people from random matchmaking. But generally speaking, early on, it's going to be really difficult. And going into this world, you're going to get into a lot of stressful situations. Since I'm talking about that, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to invite you to our guild. My guild is called Custodes Lucious. We're playing on Rebellion server. That's a European server. It's a really awesome guild, guys. Generally speaking, we have fair loot system. We're doing daily dungeons, weekly guild raids. We're not toxic at all. We're welcoming new and returning players. We're really helping each other. So that's just pretty much all you need for a good experience in this game. I'm going to drop a link to our Discord as well. We're pretty cleared up. We don't have too many people now because we had a lot more people, but they pretty much stopped logging in. And now we're kept to this number of 27 people that are mostly active, really recruiting people right now. So yes, if you're on Rebellion server, give a shout. You can whisper me in-game or just use the link below that I'm going to drop, Discord link. It's going to be a permanent link. We're mostly focusing on expanding and pushing the guild for PvP. So we're also open for alliances. If any guild is interested, you can also contact us as well. Now, the next thing you wanna look at, if you're already cooking, that's great. You just look around here and check the new recipes that you can make. Obviously, I don't have them unlocked. I'm still level 20. I haven't really did anything here, but some of them are really juicy and you can get some better stats with them. So yeah, definitely check those as well. The next thing you want to see, you have these weekly soul dungeon content. Obviously, the old ones, keep doing them as well. Tidal Tower and Gate Infinity. I think they even got upgraded drop tables as well, which is pretty good. Kind of answering to the new content and new requirements. But also we have the new soul dungeon, which is actually a bit more difficult, but eventually you get the hang of it. I haven't really played too much, so I haven't really did any of it. So I have to learn it, but definitely that's a top priority as well. You have some really good stuff from here. Obviously the drop rate is kind of low. You look at it right here, kind of low drop rate, but you have to still give it a try. Now early on is obviously, besides all the other things, if you get some tier 2 items particularly that you don't really need, I would strongly recommend to either get them, make them to lithograph or just extract the trait and sell them on the auction house. Now they're going to be way more expensive and later on they're just going to be way cheaper. So obviously pay attention to that as well. Now Nebula Island is not available yet. It's going to be available in maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I don't remember exactly. We're going to see how it is. I mean, we have some concerns of how the fair play is going to be going on here, or it's going to be gated behind PvP guilds. So we're going to see how this goes. Like I said, there is a lot of toxicity in the game, sadly. And I'm really not hating or anything. I'm just telling you my personal opinion and my genuine opinion. I really want you to get your highest chance of progressing in the game. And I want more people to play the game so we can collectively complain to AGS for them doing cheap shots to us, right? So yeah, that's why I really want more people to get into it. It's actually not a bad game. It's a good game. There's just some shady stuff going on. It's really not ideal, but you know, we can't really do too much. That's a whole different topic. I'm not going to get into this right now. Just be aware of that. Anyway, Nebula Island is still not on. Whenever we have free time, also go and check the codex. You have exploration and adventure. Obviously, the adventure, you probably just your leveling journey. However, you have exploration codex, new stuff here going on. Quite a lot of things, like small side quests. Go around these and you're going to get some extra rewards and so on. That's pretty good, but just do it on your free time. It's not like top priority thing. Also the collection. And of course, you got the new sync system. That's pretty much what we have right now available. So the new sync system is not really anything too complicated. It's really simple. Just level up your main items, or just, you know, the items that you're going to use. Get into level 12, put them right here. And then once it's level 12, you can just unlock these slots, right? You can unlock 2 of them right now. This may be locked behind real money wall, but 2 should be pretty good up front. And basically what you really need, they're still relatively expensive, but the first one only costs 150 growth stones and 8.5 million sound, which realistically what it means is that for now and the future, in the long run, it's actually quite cheaper. Like obviously you're going to spend these things to just level up, and it's probably going to be a bit more expensive to get a new weapon. However, once you unlock this, you can just experiment way more freely, and next time you can just remove the weapon from here and put another weapon here. This way, you're never going to need to level up any other weapons at all. Just level up once, unlock these. Obviously, the second one is way more expensive, plus 500 plus 25 million. However, in total, for the future, you're gonna have total of basically 3 slots, because you're always gonna have the main weapon, and even if we get to like much ahead in the game, like tier 2, like tier 3 or even higher relative item, you're always gonna have this base item right here. Never gonna remove it, and you're gonna have 2 slots for the future to put any other items. Keep that in mind. However, one thing maybe different is that if they in the future introduce a higher grade of item that is going to be upgraded to even more than 12, that's going to be a small issue, because the lower tier will not be able to be upgraded to higher tier, and you're always going to have to upgrade the new highest tier item before you replace the others, right? Keep that in mind. It's not a big deal, it's just something to know. Right now, it's perfect. You're going to level up just 1 piece of each different type, and then you have 2 slots. Of course, they also cost, but in the future, you will be able to just change whatever you want, however you want. It's going to be great. At least the first one is relatively cheap. The second one is just a bit more expensive, but that's only if you're really playing around with multiple completely different builds. Early on, 2 builds is perfect. It's way cheaper to get it this way. That's pretty much it. So that's going to be for this video, guys. If you got to the end, you're a legend. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like and subscribe button, and see you next time.